They called them mirror souls. Kayla and Kira Morrison were identical twins, but more than that, they were inseparable. Growing up in Buckhead, Atlanta's upscale haven of luxury homes and penthouses, the sisters lived a charmed life, or so it seemed. While Kayla was the soft-spoken, kind-hearted school teacher, Kira sparkled in high society, chasing PR dreams and exclusive parties. "I used to think we were two halves of the same world," Kayla once said. "But some mirrors don't reflect you. They reveal the part of you that you never wanted to see." Kayla married Malik Jordan, a charming and driven entrepreneur who had made his marks in Atlanta's booming tech industry. Tall, well-spoken, with deep brown eyes and a smile that could melt frost. Malik was the kind of man any woman would want, and every woman seemed to notice. But Kayla never doubted him. At 7 months pregnant, she still cooked his favorite meals, ironed his shirts, and listened with love when he vented about business stress. Malik, in return, treated her like a queen, until cracks started to form. Kayla had moved in temporarily after a breakup with a wedding producer from Los Angeles. She said she needed healing, a break from the madness of the entertainment world. Kayla welcomed her without questions. "If family can't be your safe place, where else do you turn?" Kayla would say. But in reality, Kira was turning her charm in direction she had no business pointing. The deepest part of the betrayal often comes from the hand we've heard the longest. Kira had always been beautiful, the kind of beauty that turned heads without trying. But now, walking through Kayla's house in silk robes, her makeup flawless even on lazy mornings, her presence started to feel loud. Malik noticed. At first, it was subtle, the way he lingered when she laughed, the way he complimented her outfit more often than unnecessary, or how his eyes trailed her just a little too long. Kira, perhaps nursing the wounds of her recent breakup, seemed to bask in the attention. "You look stressed, Malik," Kira once said, pressing a glass of bourbon into his hands after a long day. "You need to let someone take care of you sometimes." He chuckled, not looking up. "That's what my wife is for." "She's exhausted," Kira said softly. "Carrying your baby. You shouldn't bother her with everything." It was in that moment, that pause between words, that a boundary cracked. One evening, Kayla noticed Malik and Kira sitting too close on the couch. The glow from the TV reflected off their skins, shadows flickering like secrets. She asked no questions. She trusted too hard. Kira, sensing her sister's innocence, felt guilty. Briefly, but it wasn't enough to silence what had started stirring inside her: envy. Kayla had what Kira wanted: stability, love, purpose. Kira had always lived on edge, and now, as her 34th birthday neared with no lasting relationship, no child, and no husband, bitterness slipped in. "Why does she get everything?" she whispered once while looking at herself in mirror. "I'm the vibrant one. I'm the real one." Malik was unaware he was being tested, or maybe he wasn't. Temptation doesn't shout. It whispers, then waits to be noticed. The change was barely noticeable at first. Malik started coming home late. Kayla, now 8 months pregnant and wedding rather than working, didn't complain. She thought he was just working harder to prepare for the baby. Kira became quieter around her sister, more helpful, more affectionate. She cooked, cleaned, even massaged Kayla's swollen feet. But behind those gestures was an unspoken secret thickening in the air. One stormy evening, when Malik returned soaked from a sudden downpour, Kira met him at the door with a towel. She dried his hair like a lover would. Their eyes met and lingered. He stepped back, These aren't right. But Kira didn't let go. Neither is lying to yourself. That night, while Kayla snored softly upstairs, exhausted from pregnancy, insomnia, Malik and Kira gave in to a moment they could never take back. It wasn't just lust, it was curiosity, it was ego, it was years of silence, comparison erupting in one decision. The next morning, guilt wrapped itself around Malik like a second skin. He avoided Kayla's gaze as she excitedly talked about baby names. Kira couldn't meet her sister's eyes either. Kayla, sensitive and intuitive, sensed something but couldn't name it. Her guts twisted when she entered the room and both of them fell silence. Still, she silenced that small voice. It's just the pregnancy hormone, she told herself, and being paranoid. But she wasn't. Betrayal never starts with hate. It starts with comfort. It was a Wednesday when Kayla's water broke. The Atlanta sun was high and unforgiving, heat pressing against the glass of their SUV as Malik rushed her to the hospital. Kayla was at home. She do offer to come along, but Kayla insisted she stay back and rest. After all, she do been so helpful lately. You've done enough already. Kayla, thank you. Those words, done enough, echoed like irony in Kira's ears. As Malik helped Kayla through labors, hours of screaming, sweat, and tears, something in him cracked. Watching her struggle for life, for their baby, for their love, he realized the cost of what he'd done. Guilt clawed at him. At 3:12 a.m., their daughter was born, Amara Grace Jordan. Malik held her without trembling hands, tears streaking his face. He looked at Kayla, her eyes heavy, her skin pale from the hours of pushing and blood loss. You are amazing, he whispered, kissing her forehead. She smiled faintly. You are a father now. Back at home, Kira was not asleep. She was staring at her phone, a message from Malik unread. She's in labor. Pray for her. She didn't pray. She cried, not out of joy, but from a sense of being left behind again. She opened a bottle of wine, drank too much, and in a vulnerable moment, texted Malik. You said you need me. Don't act that didn't mean something. Malik didn't reply, not for days, but the silence spoke louder than any answer. Life doesn't always punish betrayal with thunder. Sometimes it begins with the silence that follows truth. Kayla was home now, recovering slowly. Her body felt broken, but her heart was full or trying to be. Amara was the light in the room, the reason Kayla kept moving despite exhaustion. Malik, however, was acting different. He was helpful. Yes, changing diapers, cooking dinners, whispering soft words to Amara when he thought Kayla wasn't listening. But he was also distant, something or sometimes too quiet, other times too agreeable. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. And Kira, she'd barely been around. She gave an excuse, a business opportunity in New York she needed to explore. But the truth was simpler. Shame. Kira hadn't spoken to Malik since the baby's arrival. She tried to move on. She tried to act like it was a drunken moment, a lapse. But in truth, she had fallen hard, and she wasn't used to rejection, especially not from a man who once whispered she made him feel alive. One afternoon, Kila was folding baby clothes when she found it, a necklace, a dainty gold piece with the initial KM. She smiled at first. Did Malik get this for me? She thought. But then a strange feeling crept in. She opened his nightstand drawer to find a small velvet box, a gift receipt inside. To Kira from MJ. Kayla sat down, breathed hollow. Her hands shook. The air around her thickened with questions. Why would he give her jewelry? When? Why didn't she tell me? The house was suddenly too quiet, the words too thin. Truth doesn't need a voice, it only needs space, and it will echo. Kayla didn't sleep that night. She lay still beside Malik, her back to him, staring at the necklace she had tucked into her palm under the covers. By morning, she had decided. When Malik walked into the kitchen to find Kayla calmly making oatmeal, she greeted him with a soft good morning, as though the world hadn't shifted. You get any rest? He asked, kissing her cheeks. She smiled tightly. Not really. She let the silence stretch. Then she pulled the necklace from her robe pocket and set it gently on the table between them. He froze. Everything in him stilled. The breath in his chest, the blood in his vein. I found this, she said. I also found the receipt from you to Kira. Malik didn't lie. He didn't even try. He sat down slowly. I didn't mean for it to happen, he began. It was one night. I was weak. We both were, and I hated myself the moment it happened. Kila stared at him. I was in labor, Malik. Her voice broke. You slept with my sister while I was bringing your daughter into the world. He looked down. She came to me. I should have stopped it. I didn't. I'm sorry. Kila's hand trembled, but her voice held firm. And did you love her? Or did you just betray me for sport? He swallowed hard. It wasn't love. It was escape. Escape from what? From the fear of being responsible for a family? From watching you in pain? From feeling like I was already falling? Tears streamed down Kayla's face, not just for the betrayal, but for the excuse, the cowardice behind the confession. She didn't scream. She didn't throw things. She simply stood and said, I need space from you, from her, from this house. And she walked out, Amara in her arms, a storm of grief trailing behind her like a perfume. Some truth doesn't shatter you, they slice you slowly, one confession at a time. Kayla hadn't responded to Kira's call or text since she left the house. She had moved in with a close friend, a quiet pediatric nurse named Brela, who lived in a cozy loft downtown. On the third day, Kira finally messaged, If you never speak to me again, I will understand, but please let me explain. Kila agreed to meet, not for Kira, for herself. They sat across from each other at a rusted wooden table, the sun filtering through the blind like judgment. Kira looked smaller, no lashes, no makeup, just shame. I have no defense, Kira whispered. I don't even know how I became this version of myself. Kira didn't respond. I was jealous. Kira continued. Of you, of your peace, of how he looked at you. I let my insecurities speak louder than my morals. I wanted what you had, even if it meant stealing it. Kila stared at her, heartbreaking, written all over her face. I love you. I trusted you. Her voice cracked. You were supposed to protect me, not destroy me. Tears streamed down Kira's cheeks. I lost myself, and now I've lost you, and I deserve that. Kayla looked away, her jaw clenched. I'm not angry because you were weak, she finally said. I'm angry because you didn't stop to think what this would do to me or to my daughter. Kira reached across the table, her hands trembling. I'm sorry. Kayla pulled her hands away. I believe you're sorry, but some wounds don't just close with words. She stood, wiped her eyes, and added, I hope you heal, Kira. But I'm not your mirror anymore. And she left, stronger than she do be ever been. Forgiveness may be divine, but some sins still burn bridges that never get rebuilt. Kayla had found rhythm again, not in the arms of partners or the comfort of a sister, but in herself. Each morning, she do rise before Amara, work, light a candle, and sit with a journal. At first, the entires were bitter, anger, sadness, regret. But slowly, day by day, new words form, gratitude, vision, hope. Kayla took online therapy sessions twice a week. She joined a postpartum support group. She even began teaching a prenatal yoga part-time at a local studio, her way of guiding other women through the valleys of womanhood. People began to notice something different about her, not the pain, but the power born from surviving it. One evening, after putting Amara to sleep, Brilla handed her a glass of tea and said, "You know, Kay, you didn't just walk away. You rose." Kayla smiled, tears welling. "I thought losing them would break me, but I found me." She'd chosen not to return to Malik, not because he didn't apologize. He did, over and over. Not because she didn't still love him in some strange distant way, but because the version of herself that stayed would always be